What's stopping you? I mean, for real, what is it? You've got the dream. You can see it clear as day. That car, that house, that title next to your name, that life of freedom for your family. You see it, but you can't seem to reach it. You start strong, but then you get tired. You hit a wall. You face a little rejection, a little failure, and you fall back. You settle. You start telling yourself, maybe it wasn't meant for me. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Is it your circumstance, or is it your means that's really holding you back? See, most of you are suffering from a disease called average. You're thinking common thoughts, making common choices, and then wondering why you keep getting common results. Today, we're not just going to talk about success, we're going to perform surgery on your thinking right here, right now. Let's get to work. Let's get right to the heart of the matter. The foundational flaw in most people's pursuits of success isn't a lack of strategy or even effort, though that may falter. It's a fundamental weakness in their underlying motivation, what I call your why. You see, your why is not a trivial thing. It's the psychological architecture upon which your entire capacity for endurance is built. It is the single greatest predictor of whether you will persevere when the process becomes arduous, which it inevitably will. If your primary why is something superficial, a nicer car, a bigger title, the appearance of success, then you have built your house on sand. The moment the storm comes, the moment you face rejection or exhaustion or the sheer monotony of the grind, that shallow why will provide no shelter. It will evaporate. It has no psychological weight, no emotional resonance deep enough to compel you to make yet another call after 10 rejections or to study for another hour when you are already tired. You are trying to fuel a cross-country journey with the fumes left in the tank. You need a why that is existentially significant. It has to be tied to something profound, a commitment to pull your family out of a generational cycle of struggle, a burning need to prove something to that version of yourself that was once told you weren't good enough, a deep-seated sense of purpose that what you are doing is not just for you, but serves something beyond you. That kind of why is heavy, it has gravity. It pulls you forward even when your willpower is utterly spent. It transforms the pain of the process from something you avoid into a price you are consciously willing to pay, a meaningful sacrifice for a meaningful end. So you have to interrogate your own motives. You must drill down past the easy answers. Ask yourself why 5 times you want a promotion. Why? To make more money? Why? To provide security. Why? So my children never know the fear I knew. Why? Because I love them, and that love demands I become a more capable being. There it is. That is the fuel. That is the bedrock. When you connect your daily actions to a purpose that is deeply rooted in your values and your loves, you are no longer merely working, you are fulfilling a personal destiny. Now, let's say you've identified a powerful why. That is the engine, but an engine is useless if you refuse to get on the road, and the road is the process. This is where another critical error in mindset occurs. The romanticization of the outcome and the simultaneous demonization of the daily grind. We are hypnotized by the highlight reel, the graduation, the championship, the moment on stage. But that is not where success is built. It is built in the countless, unseen, monotonous hours of practice. It is forged in the repetition that borders on tedium. To believe otherwise is a catastrophic delusion. It is to believe a cathedral is built by laying the final stone, ignoring the years of laying one common brick after another. Your mind, in its desire for pleasure and avoidance of pain, will constantly tempt you to undervalue the process and overvalue the destination. It will whisper that the daily discipline is a barrier to your success, an annoying prerequisite, when in truth, it is the success. The person you must become to achieve that goal is sculpted in the daily act of choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong. You must reframe your relationship with the grind itself. The struggle is not the enemy of your success. It is the precise mechanism that creates the competence, character, and resilience required to hold on to that success once you achieve it. There is no bypassing this. There is no back door. The path runs directly through the territory of sacrifice and effort. To fall in love with the process is to find a strange kind of satisfaction in the strain. It is to understand that the pain of lifting the weight is not separate from the growth of the muscle. It is the very signal that growth is occurring. So you must ask yourself not merely what you want to achieve, but more importantly, who you need to become to deserve it. And then you must willingly engage in the often thankless daily acts of becoming that person. The process is the price of admission. It is the toll on the road to your potential. So you have a why and you're committed to the process, but this presents a new, more subtle challenge, the tyranny of the majority. You are a social creature, wired for belonging. There is a deep psychological comfort in doing what everyone else is doing. But here is the brutal mathematical truth. If you do what everyone else does, you will get what everyone else gets. And what does everyone else get? Average results, mediocrity, a life of quiet desperation, punctuated by entertainment and distraction. To achieve uncommon results, you must become uncommon. And this is an inside job. It begins with your internal narrative, the story you tell yourself about who you are. If you see yourself as a victim of circumstance, that is the role you will play. If you see yourself as someone who is just not good with money, or not a leader, or not lucky, you have constructed a prison of your own identity. You must consciously tear that down. You must start speaking to yourself like a champion long before the external world has any evidence to confirm it. You must adopt the internal monologue of the person you are striving to become disciplined, focused, resilient. This internal shift then mandates external action that violates the norms of the tribe. While they sleep, you work. While they consume, you create. While they seek comfort, you voluntarily enter the productive struggle. This will feel alienating. It will feel arrogant even to you at first. You will feel the gravitational pull of the ordinary, constantly trying to drag you back to the mean. This is the crux of the battle. Success isn't just about outperforming others. It's about enduring the part of yourself that craves conformity and comfort above all else. It's about choosing your own standard of excellence over the tribe's standard of acceptability. You must decide that the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. That the temporary discomfort of being different is a price worth paying to avoid the permanent knowing of knowing you settled. You are not being rejected by the crowd. You are being selected for a different category of existence. Now we arrive at one of the most profound barriers, our relationship with failure. The human nervous system is wired to avoid pain. We experience failure as a form of pain, a social pain, a psychological pain, a blow to our status and self-concept. So we learn to fear it. We treat it as a verdict. We interpret a setback as a final judgment on our capabilities, as if the universe itself has issued a ruling. You are not good enough. This is a catastrophic misreading of reality. You must understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is an integral part of it. It is data. It is feedback from a complex reality that is testing your approach. Every single person who has achieved anything of significance has a resume littered with failures. The difference is not that they didn't fail, it's that they learned to reframe the failure. They stopped asking, what does this say about me? And started asking, what does this teach me? That is a revolutionary shift in cognition. A failed business venture is not proof you are not an entrepreneur. It is an expensive, painful, and invaluable course in what doesn't work. A rejection is not proof you are unworthy. It is a directional signal pointing you toward a better fit. When a child learns to walk, it falls down 100 times. It does not interpret those falls as evidence it should never walk. It is simply learning through iterative failure how to balance, how to coordinate. That is the mindset you must adopt. You are that child learning to walk toward your goal. Each fall is not a condemnation, it is an education. Your capacity for success is determined not by how you avoid failure, but by how you metabolize it. Do you allow it to poison you with bitterness and resignation? Or do you digest it, extract the nutrients of wisdom from it, and use it to fuel your next attempt? The path to your goal is not a straight line. It is a zigzag, a series of corrections based on the feedback the world is constantly giving you. To fear failure is to fear the very mechanism of learning itself. This brings us to a non-negotiable law of achievement, one that your unconscious mind rebels against every single day, the principle of sacrifice. You are confronted with a constant stream of choices, and each choice has a cost. The psychological weight of this is immense because to choose one path is to sacrifice all others. You cannot have the Friday night party and the Saturday morning clarity. You cannot have the endless scrolling and the deep focus. You cannot have the comfort of familiar mediocrity and the thrill of unfamiliar excellence. You are trading constantly. The currency of a better future is the voluntary sacrifice of a more pleasurable present. This is the essence of delayed gratification, the ability to endure a present deficit for a future surplus. It is the foundational skill of all maturity and success. And it is brutally difficult because it runs counter to your primal impulses, which are wired for immediate reward. Your biology screams for the easy pleasure, the distraction, the hit of dopamine now. To override that requires a conscious cognitive act. You must hold the vision of that future surplus so clearly in your mind that it becomes more real, more motivating than the temporary temptation in front of you. This is where your why and the process converge into daily action. That profound why is what you call upon to make the difficult trade. You are not just saying no to a party. You are saying yes to your family's security. You are not just saying no to junk food. You are saying yes to the health and vitality required for your mission. Every act of discipline is an act of self-respect, a vote for the person you are committed to becoming. It is a declaration that your future self is more important than your current desires. To believe you can circumvent this, to believe you can have the rewards without paying the price, is the grandest of self-deceptions. It is to believe in magic. The market of reality does not honor that currency. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to avoid the painful cost of admission. But the cost remains, it always remains. You either pay it now with discipline, or you pay it later with regret and wondering what if. The bill always comes due. We have navigated the architecture of mindset, the why, the process, the identity, the reframing of failure, the necessity of sacrifice. These are the components. But they are inert without the final catalytic element, a level of desire so intense it borders on the pathological. This is not about casual interest or lukewarm wanting. This is about a need so fundamental it reorganizes your entire perception of reality. I want you to consider a hypothetical scenario. Imagine someone holds your head underwater. You are not going to calmly schedule a time to breathe later. You are not going to negotiate or make excuses. Every neuron in your brain, every fiber of your being will be focused on a single non-negotiable objective to get to the surface now. You would trade anything, money, pride, possessions for a single breath. That is not one. That is a biological and psychological imperative. That is a desperation to live. Now transfer that same neurological and emotional intensity to your goals. Do you want success like you want to breathe? Or do you want it like you want a new pair of shoes, something that would be nice to have, but you can easily walk away from it, the price is too high? Most people's desire is the latter. It is a pleasant daydream, not a life or death mandate. And because it is not a mandate, they are easily defeated. The smallest obstacle becomes a valid reason to quit. Their desire is weaker than their resistance. Your current life is a perfect reflection of your current level of hunger. It is an exact mirror. If you're not where you claim you want to be, you must confront the terrifyingly simple truth. You do not want it badly enough yet. You have not reached the point where the pain of staying where you are exceeds the pain of the effort required to change. This is the ultimate question, and it is one only you can answer. It demands brutal self-honesty. Are you waiting for motivation to strike you, or are you going to cultivate a desperation so profound it becomes the engine itself? So we end where we began with the question, is your mindset holding you back? The evidence is not found in your circumstances, but in your choices. It is in the weakness of your why, your contempt for the process, your fear of being uncommon, your misinterpretation of failure, and your unwillingness to pay the price. These are the self-imposed chains. But they are not locked. The key is a decision to want success with a desperation that transforms your identity from the inside out. This is not a seminar, this is an intervention for your potential. The world will not adjust its standards for you. It does not care about your excuses. It only responds to value, and value is created by an individual who has chosen to become an instrument of their own ambition. You have been given the diagnosis. The prescription is action. Now, the most important question is not whether you heard me, but what you will irrevocably change before the sun comes up tomorrow.